Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
This is my boomstick.
Here's Johnny.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Righteous! Righteous! Yeah!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Houston, we have a problem.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Those Film Nerds podcast. I'll be your host tonight, as I always am. My name is Will Spalding. As always, I'm joined by my dear friend, Sam Dierberger. Sam, how's it going?
How are we doing today, everybody?
Doing great. We're doing great. We're both in new spots.
Yes.
I was last week. Sam is this week.
Yes.
This appears to be permanent now for the time being. If COVID,
that's what they want you to think.
Yeah,
We are Midwestern journeymen.
Yeah, I branched out and went all the way to Iowa.
and I just I had to outdo Will, so I went a state further and I went to Missouri. So yeah. We're it's just like our hometown except slightly warmer.
That's good. That's good though. That's real
Yes.
good. But
we like that. We like that.
Nobody really cares what our personal lives are. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
They're here for our intelligence. Well, they're
Yeah,
mostly here for our witty
were.
banter, but
yeah, that's why we take up so much of the show. We
Talking about
devote so
nothing.
much of the show to witty banter.
I like to
so.
consider this show the Seinfeld of podcasts. It's a podcast about nothing for like 15 minutes.
Well, I mean, I would think that Joe Rogan is the Seinfeld of podcasts, right? Like,
Yeah, but we make so much more money than he does, so.
that's true.
But with all of that in mind,
If you guys saw our Anchor wallet, let's just say it's a little more than the 100 million that Joe Rogan got from Spotify.
yeah, but just
let's
barely though. We just
let's
passed
just
it
say that.
last episode.
Okay.
But let's talk. So we're actually, yeah. Let's say it. Sam, what movie are we talking today?
Today we are talking about Project Power.
There was a pill that could give you 5 minutes.
So they get it. I'm embedded with the power.
Pure power. Would you take it?
Oh, would you take it, Sam? But don't
No.
spoil it yet. We'll get into that later.
Why would I take it?
But yeah, we're going to be talking about Netflix's new Project Power, out now, starring Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So if you haven't seen it, go
Yes.
check it out. But we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But Sam, before that, I do want to talk some industry news. I know off air we talked just slightly. What's your first thing?
I think first I want to talk about. Should we have our tenant talk first?
Yeah, come on, people, gathering close. It's
I
time.
don't think we had tenant talk like the last 2 weeks, so I think this is important.
Is that why our ratings dropped a ton? No, I'm kidding. They didn't see the tenant. Okay. Yep. What is it? Hit me with it.
So I mean, I'm a Reddit person. I enjoy Reddit.
Sure.
So there's an entire subreddit dedicated to Tenet, of course. And I've read some incredible reviews. This is a non-spoiler review posted by Regiflex 2 days ago. And he says, I will first start off by saying that my two favorite Nolan films before watching Tenet was Inception and Interstellar. Now Tenet joins the top of the list. To explain how good this film is without spoiling it, it is incredibly difficult. I honestly can't say much. This is something you really have to experience for yourself. What I can say is that Tenet is an action-packed thriller with many twists and turns that will make your head ache. Like mine is right now. I'm not good at reviews, but this film is indeed a near-perfect masterpiece. As just finishing it, I will give Tenet a 10 out of 10. So, end quote.
Interesting.
So I mean, you could take it with a grain of salt because this guy is posting in a Tenet subreddit, but
Yes.
I mean, there might be a little bias there. But even amongst like the professional critics, I've only seen, I've read probably 10 reviews, non-spoiler reviews, obviously. And I think only 2 of them have been somewhat negative. One of them was particularly negative. I think one of them gave it 2 out of 5, 2 stars out of 5. And then the other one was lukewarm, maybe a 2.5, maybe a 3. I don't remember. But it seems to be amongst popular audiences, it seems to be pretty promising.
Yeah, this is my most anticipated of the year. That's not a surprise to anyone. So
Yeah.
I'm going in this super excited. Aside from maybe Ammonite, the new Saoirse Ronan movie, obviously. But Tenet is still my most anticipated of the year. I can't wait to see this. It comes out, I'm pretty sure, September 4th wide release, but it might hit a few theaters in the U.S. very early, like September 1st, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So, we're not going to do a full episode on it, obviously. No, I'm just kidding.
No, of course not. Of course not. It's just.
But no, yeah, I'm still super excited for this movie. So you mentioned that a few negative reviews. I've seen more than you have, I guess. I don't know where I'm looking.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to let that discourage me, I guess. Does that make sense? Like.
Yeah.
So I'm still very excited for Tenet.
Do you want to know the wildest conspiracy theory I ever saw? Ever? This is related, I swear.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I mean, I stumbled on this deep in the web of like just I don't know where I went. I went deep though, and someone mildly insinuated that Christopher Nolan created the COVID-19 pandemic so that he could build up excitement for his movie.
Nice.
But, there might be something to that. I think I've only gotten more and more excited for this movie as we've been deprived of seeing it. We're now like a month and a half past when we were originally supposed to see it, right?
July 17th, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's coming, people. I don't think it's going to be delayed this time either because it's already hit overseas. So
Yep.
I doubt it's going to be delayed. And Sam, in 9 days, we're going to be sitting in the theater with our masks on, lounging, and watching Tenet. We're excited.
Hopefully.
We're excited. So, what's your other news?
Oh, that's right. So
I'm excited to talk about.
I am too, actually, which might be surprising coming from me because I'm not usually into superhero movies that much, but I saw the trailer for the Batman. I would say the new Batman movie, but it's just called The Batman.
The Batman. Okay, and before we get into this, we need to determine this once and for all. Sam, I'm going to give you 3 options. You have to give me an answer.
Yes.
What do you like? Arbats, Pattinson, Arbats, Battinson, or Patman for nicknames for Robert Pattinson as Batman. I'm a fan of Arbats. I like Arbats.
I feel like Arbats is for Arbats would be a term for teenage girls who
I'm going with that
fawn over. Yeah, you kind of are. You have that side to you, but
absolutely.
Like the teenage girls who fawn over Robert Pattinson and also happen to enjoy DC Comics. I don't know, possibly, but I like Pattinson. That's clever.
I think Patman has its strengths, but it sounds a little too much like Pac-Man. So
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, aside from talking about,
I don't know.
So talk about the trailer. It just dropped. Let's hear it. What were your initial thoughts? We both saw it.
It's extremely. It looks dark, like just not. I mean, well, maybe thematically too, but just like aesthetically, it looks.
I think
dark.
I think both tonally and aesthetically, it's going to be dark, which is
yes.
Which I like with Batman. I think they're going to take the detective approach more than other Batmans have in the past.
Right, which I love. I love that idea.
Is this a rehash of The Dark Knight? We'll see. It almost feels like The Dark Knight was dark and gritty. Watch us do it darker and grittier.
Yeah. It's kind of, I know they've said, like, the people at DC have said that, no, this isn't going to be in the same universe as Joker 2019. But
or the DCEU.
Yeah.
Which is that's like the Batman v Superman and Man of Steel. And
that's like the Ben Affleck. See, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to comic book movies. But...
Yeah, let me explain this, okay, everyone. Obviously, Joker is not in the DCEU.
It's in like the Dark World. What is it called?
Yeah, I don't even know.
They have a name for it.
I'm not going to try to explain that, to be honest. The Robert Pattinson, The Batman, and Matt Reeves directing is its own separate universe. And then, like, the Ben Affleck is in it. That's the DC extended universe with, like, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman and Henry Cavill as Superman. And interestingly enough, Affleck had, like, signed off on the DCEU for a while, but now he's back in the new Flash movie coming out next year. But also Michael Keaton is also reprising his role as Batman.
In a separate universe?
No, in the same one as Ben Affleck.
Wait, why?
I don't know. I don't think anyone at DC knows what they're doing right now. Or Warner Bros.
Okay, here's one thing that might be tangentially related. So there was a great show. Again, I know absolutely nothing about comics or comic book franchises, but there's a great show from the 80s and 90s called Batman the Animated Series. And it looked like a kid's show, but it was not a kid's show. It was extremely dark, right?
I've only heard good things about this, by the way.
It's fantastic.
I haven't seen it myself, but
I would watch it as a young child because my parents didn't really know the extent of what was going on in there, and I really didn't. But it was pretty dark. Like, it was tonally similar probably to the Batman or the Dark Knight, but it was animated.
Yeah.
And then that's just like Batman. We think of Bruce Wayne in his like 30s or 40s. And then there was a show that came out in the early 2000s called Batman Beyond or something like that. And that centered on a guy who wore like this new age bat suit. It took place in the future, and he worked on behalf of an elderly Bruce Wayne, who was voiced by the same guy who played younger Bruce Wayne in the Batman the Animated Series.
Interesting.
So that was the continuity that I really enjoyed. There's this OCD part of me that likes continuity and not breaking off into different universes and whatnot.
So maybe the Keaton Batman is the future of Affleck Batman, and they're going to do some sort of two timeline thing. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they're planning. That'd be interesting if like the Tim Burton Batmans like come into play.
Yes.
Nicholson comes back after 10 years.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Okay, let's talk. I want to talk a little bit more about the Batman coming out next year.
Yeah.
It looks like, tell me if I'm wrong, but from the trailer, it looked like Robert Pattinson wasn't really going for billionaire playboy, but more like he was kind of like very upset and like.
Yeah, he looks more angsty teenish than.
Yeah.
He looks more like his character in
Twilight?
Good Time than he does in like. I mean, his hair's dark, obviously, but still, I mean, and
by the way,
yeah, I know, for another day. But the thing that bothers me kind of looking like a billionaire playboy because he is one.
Yeah.
But but like they went with like kind of a long hairstyle and
It looks
you know what I
interesting.
mean? Yeah.
And he has like eyeshadow around his eyes, and we'll see what they do.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you was Paul Dano as the Riddler.
Yeah, so we got just to let people know, we got Paul Dano as the Riddler from like There Will Be Blood, but we also have Colin Firth as the Penguin, which I'm in for both of those.
Colin Farrell, yeah.
Oh, did I say Firth? My bad. Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
I love Paul Dano. I think he's a great actor, and he plays a great creepy dude. So I think he's going to be a great Riddler. I do.
Did you know that Paul Dano was originally supposed to play Eli Sunday's brother in There Will Be Blood, which is a very minor role? And then he ended up, I think PTA saw his abilities and he ended up recasting him as the main guy. Paul Sunday. Or Eli Sunday. Eli Sunday. That's his name. Yeah.
I think Dano's a great actor. So I'm in for him. I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we have John Turturro as what does that say? Carmine Fell something?
Is that a villain too?
I don't know. John Turturro's in it though. So
Turturro's great. Andy Serkis is playing Alfred Pennyworth. That's interesting. Serkis is a very talented dude, so I'm not concerned about that at all.
yeah.
And of course, my celebrity lookalike Peter Sarsgaard is in the movie.
Yes.
Or at least I think he looks like me when I'm 45.
Yeah, you need to get that beard going.
I do need to work on the beard. But yeah, great cast. I'm really excited for this movie. And I was kind of like harping on it a little bit, saying like, is it going to be a rehash? I'm still excited for this movie. So
Yeah. Yeah. I am too, actually.
I think Matt Reeves is a great director too. I think Cloverfield's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's an interesting use of found footage. I think it was the first good found footage movie. I think the Planet of the Apes trilogy is very good. He kind of helmed that. So I'm excited. I think he's a great director, and I think it's in good hands.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But do you have anything else to say about this or anything else?
I think that's it for me this week. Did you have any news?
I was going to talk about Tenet, so we did that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, these are the only two things we care about now.
Pretty much.
And
So-
the Batman.
Sam, I do want to link the actors. Do you have two for me? Or can you just come up with two off the top of your head?
That'd be difficult. Let's do Robert Pattinson
Ooh, okay.
and is this going to be too easy? Saoirse Ronan. Robert Pattinson, Saoirse Ronan.
Okay.
That might be too easy. I don't know.
The thing is, I don't know a ton of. Oh wait.
You know plenty. What are
Yeah,
you talking about?
I can do it in one. I know Pattinson is in a movie with Timothée Chalamet called The King, and Chalamet and Saoirse Ronan have been in a few movies together, Little Women and Lady Bird.
Robert Pattinson was in The King?
The only reason I know that is because I was like, I haven't even seen that movie, but I was looking through like Chalamet's credits the other day,
Yeah.
like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I clicked on The King because I was like, would I be interested in this? By the way, I don't think I would be.
Yeah,
And,
probably not.
And I was just scrolling through the cast, and I was like, oh, Pattinson, cool. So,
That's fine. Okay. Well, see, I don't know these things.
well, I wouldn't have either if I had not been scrolling through like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's I don't think I've missed yet.
No, you've done it in 7 or less. We might have to, or 6 or less. 6 or less.
Maybe
You might have
knock
to-
down to 5 or something. I don't know. We'll
yeah,
figure.
we might have to squeeze that a little. I need like 10. So
That's funny.
how
That's all my brain consists of. Is movie trivia.
about
Oh, we're going again. Okay. All right.
how about okay. How about Tommy Lee Jones and Gal Gadot? Gal Gadot.
I think it's Godot, although I don't know.
I heard Gadot.
Okay. Maybe so Gal, if you're listening, just email in. Let us know.
Let us know.
We'll apologize. Okay, so Gal Gadot, we'll go with Godot. And Tommy Lee Jones. So I'm gonna go Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive
Okay.
with Mr. Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Harrison Ford in. Can I say? No, wait. I'm gonna go Tommy Lee Jones in Batman and Robin with. We're bringing it back to Batman with Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction with Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson in. Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna be. This is such a like a cheat, but I'm gonna go Samuel L. Jackson in Avengers Endgame with Vin Diesel, and Vin Diesel in Fast Five with Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot.
You. I'm gonna have to start. Okay, that one counts, but I'm gonna have to start banning Marvel movies.
They're too extensive. They're too extensive.
Or even you can keep like individual Marvel movies, but I'm taking out like the Avengers because
that's honestly fair.
When you have like the Avengers consisting of the 60 biggest actors in Hollywood, like,
yeah, you're right.
God.
You're right. But before we go down too big of a rabbit hole, Sam, should we talk Project Power?
Let's talk Project Power.
What I'm about, but I'll do anything to find that source. Listen to my voice. Am I lying?
Oh, am I lying, Sam? Am I lying?
Ooh.
All right. Let's talk some Project Power. Now, before we get into complete spoilers, let's talk a little bit just general thoughts and how do you like I know we've talked Joseph Gordon-Levitt. We might talk him again this year because he's in 3 movies this year. He's in Trial of the Chicago 7, the Aaron Sorkin movie with like 15 other people. So we'll probably talk him later because I'm excited for that movie. But how do you feel about Jamie Foxx? This kind of superhero, etc.
Yeah, this movie is bad.
Oh, right off the gate.
Right off the gate, I had to say it again. It's like, why do these talented actors take roles like this? Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Jamie Foxx are bright spots in this movie. Really, they're giving it their all. I mean, Jamie Foxx might be phoning it in a little bit because he does a lot of movies kind of this type, but he's still like perfectly believable, and
he's still a good actor.
Yeah, like, but it's like I had this thought when I was watching it. I'm like, this guy was in Ray. Like he absolutely embodied Ray Charles, and then I'm watching this and I'm like, what is he doing? Like it was just one of those absurd thoughts you have. You're like, this is the same guy. Like,
absolutely.
You know? So yeah, I mean, so I would have to go back to my initial review again. This is why you all need to follow me on Letterboxd, because I try to basically write reviews right after I finish the movie. So I said that Project Power is simply forgettable in every way, utterly aimless, awkwardly paced, and all around uninteresting. I would still stand by that 5 days later or whatever it's been. I mean, it's forgettable is probably the word for it. And I think it's probably a better movie than I'm giving it credit for. It's just that I don't remember anything that was particularly good about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm going to agree with you there. I don't think this is a bad movie. I don't think this is a good movie. I think it's very all right. I think its one fault is that there isn't anything memorable. Like you said, I think I'm 3 days out, and I can tell you a few things, some major plot points, but I couldn't tell you the characters' names because they weren't memorable. I couldn't tell you any great action sequences because I don't know how many there. Oh, there was one good one, but like it's just forgettable. You're right.
Yeah.
I think this is an interesting superhero movie.
Oh, great concept.
Great concept of you only get powers for a few minutes and then they're gone. You don't know what your power is going to be. I think all of that's really interesting. And I think there is a good movie in here.
Yes.
Just not the one we got. So I don't know what could have been done to fix that. I think for how long it is, almost 2 hours, I don't know how much happens in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there literally, I wouldn't say literally nothing happens, but very little takes place.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned the concept because it's I was right after I watched it, I went on the Wikipedia page because I just like to read about the development and the production, but it says near the top of the article, it says that the film was released on August 14th, 2020 by Netflix. It received mixed reviews from critics who praised the performances of the cast, action sequences, and visuals, but criticized the screenplay for not taking full advantage of its premise, which is 100% accurate. Like,
that's exactly right.
It's a very good premise. Something kind of nags at me and kind of says that this has been done before somewhere. I can't remember where, but I can't remember where, so I guess it's passable. But yeah, it's a very good premise. We have essentially this concept that's introduced where an international corporation / cartel introduces these pills onto the street markets, the illegal street running markets that gives a person some unspecified superpower for 5 minutes. And this could be, it depends on the individual, which power you receive.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and it can be potentially harmful if you are not careful.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think I want to just echo a little bit. I think Jamie Foxx and JGL are both good, although they're not given a ton to work with, if that makes sense. But I think they're doing what they can.
Right.
It's really just, it comes down to that screenplay. I think we've said this before, but we're both big on pacing and screenplays, and when it's bad, it's hard to get past.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think what we have to do is do now, I guess, is just kind of like go through kind of the setup to the plot. Because honestly, I need to remember like how everything developed. Because again, we don't remember much from it because it's just so kind of forgettable. But it's okay. So I'm on the Wikipedia page again, and under the plot subsection of the article, it says, in near future New Orleans.
Oh, it's not right now. Okay, thank goodness. But
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I just thought it was right now.
I didn't either. But if it's near future, what does near future mean? Because that girl still had a picture of Zion Williamson on her iPhone. So
yeah. What about that?
And he was wearing this is rookie. That's his rookie threads, and he looks like he's 20 as he is.
Yeah.
Near future.
Even that's like even if it's like 5 years from now, I mean, it's like, you think Zion's going to be in the NBA 5 years from now? No, he's going to be at home eating gumbo.
Niche joke.
Very niche. But so near future New Orleans, a mysterious distributor offers a free supply of, okay, ready for this? This is a very creative nickname for a drug, okay?
Oh, I don't even remember this.
Power.
Oh. Oof.
A
Not good.
pill that grants superpowers for 5 minutes to a group of drug dealers, including Newt. So then we get into this kind of this personal drama with Newt and his teenage cousin. And then she kind of works with Frank, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And that's kind of where our plot unravels there. I think one of my biggest critiques with this movie, besides it being forgettable, is that a lot of things are either over-explained with a lot of exposition, or they're really underexplained. For example, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, when he takes this pill, he has the power to, and I only know this now because I'm reading it, he has the power to like basically harden his skin, effectively making him bulletproof. I mean, we're kind of shown that, but it's never I mean, there's a scene where he gets shot in the head and the bullet just kind of
Like ricochets off almost.
Ricochets right off, and it's like, yeah, we get that he's bulletproof, but like there's nothing else, you know. It's not properly explained ever. And a lot of things are similar to that in this movie. A lot of underexplained things.
And I do want to talk about Jamie Foxx's superpower at the end, but let's not get there yet because that's kind of spoilers.
Yeah.
I do want to let's talk some positives though. I do have a few. We've mentioned a few actually already. The performances and I really liked the action sequence with Jamie Foxx at I don't even know what to call it, like the underground bar where he goes into the building and knocks out the guy, and then he's like scoping it out or whatever, and the girl's inside the tank with her freezy power, and we see the entire action sequence unfold from inside the tank. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was an effective use of sound as well, because it was kind of muffled since we were inside. I thought that was pretty cool actually, and Jamie Foxx was kicking butt, so that was cool. Any other moments for you that you enjoyed or saw something out of? I liked. I mean, plot wise, there was something interesting about. It's eventually revealed. I don't know if this is too much of a spoiler, if we're being honest. We'll just say spoilers. We're a little bit into this. Spoilers for Project Power.
Okay, watch it if you want to. If you want to, people. But it's eventually revealed that this is kind of put on by this evil, nefarious corporation who wants to take over the world. These pills are offered to, governmental leaders of different nations to go to war, et cetera, et cetera. But still, we have this. We still have this plot that plays out amongst 3 or 4 characters. So that's cool as a big word here, but like microcosm.
Yeah, it's like scaled down almost.
It's scaled down. It's kind of like a taste of the action.
It's not like the whole world's going to end or anything.
Right. Yeah, we kind of saw something similar to this in like The Old Guard. We talked about several weeks ago, where this is a concept that could be applicable to kind of, you could make it like anywhere around the world, but we just focus on these few characters because it's really good concept. Like The Old Guard, I think Project Power could be setting up for a sequel, possibly, because again, it's one of those concepts that you can do a lot with.
I
don't think they did a whole heck of a lot with the concept in this film, but there's definitely more you could get out of it.
Sure. I would see a sequel for The Old Guard. I would not see one for this. I'll just say that.
Really?
Yeah. I want to get into something that also really bugged me. Is I had no idea who the villain of this movie was. Could not ever tell. As soon as I was like, that's the villain. And then they'd go away, and then now we have a different villain. Because at one point, it was the original guy from the beginning who handed out the power medicine or whatever, the power pills.
Yeah, I just thought he was the bad guy.
And then for a while there, it was Newt. Then, well, not for a while. For a little bit, it was Newt. Then again, it was the guy at the beginning. Then it like shifted to this Latina woman. Then I was just like, we're all over the board right now. Who's the bad guy? I don't even know who I'm supposed to be not rooting for. You know, like it, because for a while it was supposed to be Jamie Foxx, and then there were like 4 or 5 villains, and I just couldn't get past that. I wish they would have. That again comes to script, where I wish they would have chosen something and gone with that instead of trying to bounce everywhere.
Yeah,
be more clever than it could be.
Right. The other thing was, like, okay, it's never really explained why the bad guy who originally gives out the power from the back of the semi truck in the opening scene, it's never explained why him or his like corporation actually does that, like gives it out for free to just random drug dealers.
Right? Yeah, that wasn't.
Like, what would be the point of that?
They go at the beginning. He goes, "This sounds too good to be true," and he goes, "It's because it is."
Yeah. It's like, because like you could say, well, they wanted to, experiment on them and see what effects it has. It's like, well, they're not watching them. They're just giving them a bunch of pills and like being like, okay, go off, go away.
I gotta share this dialogue because I mentally wrote it down. They're on the final, like kind of the final third act. They're on the ship. The bad guys are looking for our protagonists. The main bad girl now, I guess, goes at one point, her dialogue was, "I'm going to go look in the other room." She was going to go look. They're searching for our protagonists. And she goes, "I'm going to go look in the other room." And the room they were in is the room that she's going to go look. I was like, I slapped my forehead and cranked because I was like, oh, that was terrible. That was so bad.
Right.
But
yeah.
I will say, to be fair, other than the script, which includes dialogue, and the whole villain thing, which I also kind of consider the script, I don't really have I don't want to say a ton of this is very bad. It's so run of the mill, very, very mediocre. Other than the script is bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there were some bright spots. I mean, the scene where Joseph Gordon-Levitt breaks into Robin's mom's bathroom. That was excellent. Very effective comic relief.
Yes, that was funny. Thanks for mentioning that. Actually,
and he seamlessly transitions into being like a disgruntled boyfriend.
Yeah,
it was really fun to watch. I really enjoyed that scene.
That was good. See, there are standout scenes, but I've already forgotten about that one. I think that's the ultimate downfall of it, is that it is rather forgettable.
Yeah, I only remembered that scene because of us talking and kind of stimulating conversation about the movie. I don't like it. It's not something I carried with me.
So let's get into ultimate spoilers here. Final thing. So they do save Jamie Foxx's daughter, which was the ultimate goal the whole time.
Right.
Talk about his power or whatever that was.
Yeah, it was.
What did you think of that?
It was, again, not very well explained, I don't think.
I was excited to see. I was like, ooh, what's Jamie Foxx's power going to be? We haven't seen it yet. It's going to be awesome, right? Wasn't explained at all what it was. And then when it was shown, I don't know what we got.
Yeah.
So what do you think, aside from the lack of explanation, what do you think about it?
I mean, it was cool when it finally happened. I just don't. I don't think the dramatic tension was built up nearly enough in order to, I guess, make me excited enough to see it. It was just something that happened, and then I was like, oh, okay. So, basically, he can like incinerate people. Like it was strange. It was strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, did he know he had that power? Like had he ever taken a pill before? I don't.
Well, I think what it was he was tested on, right? He was a test subject. There's like, this cliche that's been done 1,000 times is, oh, I was in the military, and I mean a plot writing cliche is, I was in the military and the government ran experiments on me, and now I have this power. But he doesn't want to use it because he's scared that it'll hurt people or whatever, or kill himself or whatever. So he ends up being he ends up not using it until the very end when it actually matters, of course, when he has to save his daughter, etc., in the all or nothing climax moment. And I mean, that was done pretty effectively. I thought that, the hostage negotiation was, pretty good for this level of script writing. I think it was pretty good. So yeah. Ended up having an okay ending, but
A decent payoff, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, things work out for all of our characters, which was cool. I would have liked to see maybe a little bit of tragedy. I would have wanted one of them to die, not because I dislike any of them, but it would just be, interesting to see, which is what makes me think that there will be a sequel, or they'll try to pursue a sequel, is because we have like 4-ish characters that could be subject to die, and because none of them were killed off, I think that we'll be looking at a sequel. So yeah.
Interesting. Well, do you have any more thoughts? I think we've kind of expressed them all and got them all out there, but do you have anything you haven't said yet?
Yeah, I think overall this movie is still subpar, but it's something to throw on if you're bored. It's not going to challenge you too much. It might bug you if you pay too much attention. It's one of those movies, but if you're not paying too much attention and just throw it on and let your mind wander, then yeah, it'll work.
Cool. Absolutely. Well, do you want to grade it or rate it, I suppose?
Yeah, I'm going to give Project Power 2 stars out of 5. Simply because the script writing is not very concise or clear. And a lot of the characters are kind of boring. And the concept, again, is not fully taken advantage of, but the visuals are great. And what will you rate it, Will?
I'm going to go half star higher than you, 2.5, but a low one at that. Pretty low.
Yeah. Yeah.
2.5. It's just very average. I think like a 2-star for me is bad and it's not quite there. A 3-star for me is good and it's not quite there. So it's
right.
There we go. 2 and 2.5. I think that's what most people are kind of conceding with 2. We're kind of we're falling in the general consensus on this one, but yeah. So that's enough of Project Power. Let's do some recommendations. I'll start first.
Okay.
Think of yours.
Okay.
So I mentioned it earlier. Joseph Gordon-Levitt will be coming out his third movie of the year, which we will talk about. So this is the year of Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I guess. He will be starring in The Trial of the Chicago 7, directed by Aaron Sorkin, who we all know from writing such fantastic scripts like Steve Jobs, Moneyball, A Few Good Men, and The Social Network. And what I am going to recommend, his first directorial debut, This Trial of Chicago 7, will be his second movie that he has directed. But I'm going to recommend his first movie, which I love, Molly's Game. It essentially just tells the true story about Molly Bloom, who ran a bunch of poker games back in like the early 2000s. So very entertaining. It's still got that snappy Sorkin dialogue that everyone loves.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely higher on this than most people, but I love Molly's Game. I think Jessica Chastain is awesome in it. I think Idris Elba is always great. So I'm going to recommend Molly's Game, and I'm getting super excited for The Trial of the Chicago 7. I think it has a good shot at Best Picture.
Absolutely. I need to check that out. I still haven't seen that. I'm disappointed in myself.
I should say it is out on Netflix now. So Molly's Game.
Molly's Game on Netflix. Excellent. So I'm going to put that on my schedule. Hopefully knock that out this week, actually. I've been meaning to get around to that for a long time.
I did that. So everyone check that out. It's very, very strong. Let us know what you think. But Sam, do you have anything for us this week?
Yeah, I was thinking about superhero movies I actually care about, because we've been talking a lot of superhero movies today. We talked all kinds of Batman lore, and then we talked about this thing, Project Power. So I was thinking, what superhero movie do I actually enjoy besides The Dark Knight, and maybe like, I don't know, like Doctor Strange or something like that. I don't know if this one counts, but Birdman from 2014 is a great film. And I don't know if you can qualify it as a superhero movie or whatnot, but
that'd be interesting. Okay, I like it. No, that's cool.
We could have a full debate about this, actually.
Birdman,
is it a superhero movie? It stars Michael Keaton as Regan Thompson. He's kind of like a aging ex-Hollywood movie star. He used to be in these franchise movies. He used to play Birdman, which was big, like a big franchise movie, and he decides, I'm going to return to acting, but I'm going to like basically star in and direct this play that I wrote on Broadway, this serious drama. He's trying to establish himself as a method actor, like a true thespian, and it's kind of the ghosts of his past and commercialism and what haunted him before as an actor. Where does art border into just doing it for profit and doing it for love, this sort of thing? So Birdman is a fantastic movie. Won Best Picture. A lot of people have pointed out maybe some parallels to Keaton's career, because obviously he played Batman, as we discussed, back in the 80s and 90s. But yeah, certainly one to check out, Birdman. I'm not sure where it's streaming right now.
Let me check. I'll check it out real quick. This is actually interesting too, because it's the start of the Keaton-assance, because he went back to back Best Pictures with Birdman and Spotlight.
That's insane. He's had a very successful, like, kind of resurgence ever since. I mean, he was in The Founder, and he's been doing all sorts of stuff. So,
which is good. We like to see Michael Keaton back in the spotlight. We love Michael Keaton.
Yeah, very versatile. Very versatile.
Yes, absolutely. Doesn't look like it's streaming anywhere, but it's worth the $4 to rent. It seriously is.
Yeah, for sure.
I love the director, Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu. He's a genius. And actually, the cinematographer, Emmanuel Lubezki, is my favorite cinematographer of all time.
Yeah.
He's famous for the one take, Birdman, the one take. And then what's funny?
Oh, yes.
Lubezki.
You should mention that, yeah.
One take. So if anyone's seen 1917, same thing.
Yeah.
Lubezki won back-to-back Oscars with
Yes, he did, didn't he?
Can you name them all?
Was Birdman first?
Birdman was second.
Oh, dang. What did he
He won
do?
for Gravity.
Oh, Gravity. Okay. So Gravity, Birdman.
You'll feel stupid once I say this. The Revenant.
Oh, The Revenant, sure. And
Back
then,
to back. That's insane.
yeah,
He's my favorite, and he's definitely one of the greats.
that is absurd. I forgot about that.
But with that being said, Sam, before we go on too long, where can I find you on Letterboxd?
Yeah, you can find me at sjdierberger. And where can I find you, Will?
You can find me on Letterboxd at Will Spalding, and you can find us in New Orleans trying to stop drug runners, because that's what we do in our free time. But in case you don't live in New Orleans, because neither do we, you can find us at Those Film Nerds on Instagram and at thosefilmnerds@gmail.com. Email in any thoughts about the show or movie or things related. But you can also find us on anchor.fm/thosefilmnerds and anywhere on podcast platforms and YouTube. And with that being
Absolutely.
said, Sam.
Until then, keep watching movies.
That's right. We'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Have a great week.